What incredible things happen when you stop settling for a life that looks good on paper and start choosing one that feels alive with the dreams and desires you haven't claimed yet. It's your host, Katie Kay, artist, mentor, entrepreneur, founder of the Creator Code, and mentor for women ready for the best chapter of their life. Are you ready for more? Fuck yes. Let's go, my loves. Hello. This is so exciting. My heart is racing as I start the first episode of this podcast, which I have been dreaming about for a couple of years now. I'm finally doing it. So I'm recording from my beautiful studio space, which is situated just outside of my house. I live in Canberra, Australia. For those of you outside of Australia, this is our capital, our lesser known capital. We kind of like it that way because it makes Canberra like a good secret. And it's very underrated. And I love living here. I've lived here for a long time. And I hope that I'll be recording each one of these episodes in this space. And if I'm not in this space, then I'll be somewhere else that's special and significant to what I'm sharing. So this is a new experience for me, recording a podcast, my voice, my face being captured. It's kind of scary, but also really exciting. I want to start this first episode, by sharing a little bit about me. Sharing a little bit of my story, where I've come from and why I'm here and why you're listening to me. So my upbringing is probably part of what makes me weird and different. I love people who are weird and different. I have a beautiful eclectic collection of friends who are weird and different, and I love that. I love when we can really fully step into who we are and embrace it and just shine from that place. So I was born into a family of artists. And in that respect, I was not the black sheep of the family because I also followed that path of self-expression and prioritizing art in life as a really important element. So both my parents are artists. Ever since I was a little kid, ever since I can remember, I have been creating things, using my hands, using my heart, being a deep feeling, expressive human. I also feel like now, as I enter my 50th year, I turn 50 in a few months, that I look back at my life and I feel like I've lived so many different lives. Probably at least 9, like a cat, but maybe more. I could break my life down into chapters and little stories. And so if I did that, one of them would be called I Was on My Way to Hollywood, but a boy got in the way. One would be called I put my own needs last again, and this time I nearly died. And one would be called, I suddenly remembered that I had a body and I wasn't just a head floating around. And so many more. I have about 3 decades experience of entrepreneurship. My very first leaning into this world was in my early 20s when I made portfolios and sketchbooks for Australian artists and helped them display their work and give them containers for their work, particularly artists who worked with prints and drawings. And it's been a big one. It's been a huge self-development journey. Anybody who works in small business or as a freelancer or as a creative professional will tell you that it's like a ticket to the most intense self-development, personal development journey that you'll ever go through. And I did not know this when I set out to do this. I was following a calling, which was that I really wanted to work for myself and I wanted to have impact in the world and do beautiful things and live a really big life. So I didn't really think about what would come along with that, but it's been a really wild journey and I hope to share a lot of that with you. So for about the last 17 years, I have been the owner of a family photography business. That has been my most successful entrepreneurial venture to date. It has supported my family for that entire length of time. And I run that business now with my husband. And it's still going strong, although I no longer work full-time in that business. So for the last 5 or 6 years, I have been exploring sharing my big magic with the world in a different way. And that is through coaching, mentorship, and helping people really unlock their own potential and create their big magic in the world. So my big magic is that I help women who are ready to live the best fucking chapter of their lives. And that's what I want. I want each chapter to feel like the best fucking chapter. And for the next one to be better than the one that I'm in right now. And for it to just keep on getting better until I'm on my deathbed going, fuck yes. Like, that was such a good life. I'm so happy and so glad that I did all the things that I wanted to do. It's also my mission to be really embodied in everything that I do. I don't just want to talk about stuff. I don't just want to use my head all the time. I want to use my body. I want to feel it. And I want to show up as honestly as possible and share my experiences. I think that's one of the things that's missing out there in the world of education, is really seeing embodied people saying, yep, I'm doing this and I'm in it. And it's not always easy, but I'm doing it anyway. I want to add a little disclaimer to my first episode, a little warning for you, a little warning for anyone listening, okay? I have noticed over the years that I have a kind of influence on those close to me, friends, family, people who are in my world. And I don't do this on purpose. My job is not to persuade you to do something, to be something. That's not how I see this podcast or anything that I do at all. However, I've noticed that I influence people accidentally. And so my warning to you is that as you listen to this podcast and become a part of my world, you might just find yourself asking questions about your life. You might try things that you've never thought of before. You might open yourself up to something that you may have previously rejected or thought wasn't for you. So that's my warning. And I'm not saying that will happen, but it might. So what is this all about? More of what exactly? You're probably wondering. I want to ask you a question. Do you have dreams and desires that you've never brought into fruition? I do. I have lots. I have lots that I have brought into fruition, and then I have more. I have more all the time. And as I achieve or fulfill a dream or desire or try it on for size, more dreams and desires emerge. And so I want to do all of them. I want to experience as much as I possibly can in this life. And I want you to as well. I want you to have a big, juicy life. I want you to try all of the amazing things that you're thinking of. Because you might have some that are, maybe they feel too wild or too big, or maybe they're hard, maybe they're expensive, maybe they're scary, maybe you haven't had time to do them. Maybe you've been prioritizing other things, other people, your work, your career, your family. And maybe you haven't prioritized you, or you haven't been able to prioritize you yet. And so this is about that. This is about what happens, what incredible things can happen in our lives when we really step into more, when we say, yes, this is great. I'm happy right now. And I also want more. I want more love. I want more pleasure. I want more money. I want more adventure. I want more freedom. I want more choices. I want more sex. I want more fun. What happens? What incredible things happen in our lives when we claim that and then we go out and do it. And that's really what this is about. It's about doing the things that make you feel truly alive, whatever aliveness is, because it's different for each of us at different times. It keeps changing as we experience and grow. And so whatever that is, I want more of it. I want more aliveness. And I want that for you too. And I think you want that for you too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening. So I would now like to share with you the origin of this podcast, where it came from, why I decided to do this, because it's got a bit of a story, and it's because it really was one of those deep dreams and desires that I kept inside of me for a long time. And I want to share that story with you and what happened when I started choosing more. So the story is called The Battle Cry. And here it is. I had it all. I had a business that paid me well and didn't own my weekends anymore. I had 12 cruisy weeks of holiday time each year. I had an actual travel budget, evidence of how I'd prioritized my life over my work. I had a house I bought with my own money that I made in my business doing what I love. I had a backyard that I'd turned into something that felt like a resort, somewhere I would frequently sit and think, I did this. I had my very own workspace that had been made just for me and was totally my vibe. I had a solid marriage, 2 kids, savings in the bank. I'd made a really good life. It was the life I'd dreamed about when everything still felt hard and so far away, like when I was a freshly single mum and struggling to pay my bills and terrified of losing a client because of what it might mean. And somehow, it wasn't enough. And I don't mean that I was ungrateful or unhappy. Rather, that there was this quiet, persistent feeling that wouldn't leave me alone. Now what? And in quiet moments, my mind would wander to long-held dreams that seemed too wild to ever come true. Writing a book, hosting retreats, having a podcast, speaking on stage, living overseas, riding a horse in the ocean, learning shibari or pole dancing. At first, I tried to pathologize this feeling. Here she is again, the achiever, the perfectionist, the woman who can never just be satisfied. But that was not true, because I knew that this wanting wasn't coming from dissatisfaction. It wasn't trying to fix anything. It was a relentless whisper, and it came from a deeper place than a nervous system response. It was a place that felt curious and alive and electric, and it said, there's more waiting for you. For a long time, I'd believed the story that once you get the things you're working for, the business, the family, the house, the overseas holidays, whatever they are, you're supposed to stop wanting. Wanting is framed as greed or ungratefulness, or a nervous system that doesn't know how to slow down. But here's what no one tells you. Goals are not endpoints. They are thresholds. They lead you to the next thing. Trees don't stop growing because they reached a certain height, and neither do you. Energy doesn't stop. It changes form, and so do you. I realized that I had been living in survival mode for so long that I'd mistaken stability for aliveness. I had built a beautiful container, but I wasn't fully inhabiting myself inside it. I wasn't prioritizing my own aliveness. And underneath everything I'd created, the success, the security, the structure, there was another voice, quieter, older, wiser, sovereign, my future self. And it said, you're allowed to change. You're allowed to want more. You don't have to earn it, and you don't have to burn it down or disown what you built on the way to this threshold. When I finally started listening to that voice, my life didn't gently upgrade. It exploded. Not all at once like a Hollywood movie, but unmistakably. And now I'm living a completely different life in a completely different way. Here's what happened. In my work, I began to see with clarity where I was spending my energy detrimentally and where I was channeling my genius. And this focus helped me to reevaluate my relationship with my business, with productivity, and with my purpose on this earth. It felt like someone pulled back the curtains on all my patterns and habits and what wasn't really my true nature. I was finally able to make big, brave, radical decisions that changed my trajectory so that I was actually moving towards my new goals. These days, I spend hours on self-care because I know I need to be all that in order to live an all that life. I make myself the most incredible breakfasts that are the cornerstone of my morning. I go to Pilates every single day. I nap when I want to. I work in bed when I feel like it. I feel no guilt asking for what I want or making decisions that centralize my needs because my well-being ripples out and affects everyone who surrounds me. I don't just know this, I can feel it. My marriage upgraded in the most delicious and unexpected way. After what seemed like a billion incredibly hard conversations that sometimes felt like we were on a hamster wheel, and a transformative retreat experience, we found our mojo as a couple again. And now everything feels like honey, with depth, equality, alignment, and intimacy like the early days when we fell in love. My creativity cracked open. Ideas started arriving faster than I could keep up with them. A new body of work came to me during a shower, and it's the culmination of everything I've ever done. My capacity tripled. My courage did too. It was as if I fully arrived in my own life, on my own personal catwalk, dripping with truth and aliveness. All of the changes have led me to more freedom, more travel, more pleasure, more of everything I want and value. Once you start living like this, you cannot go back. And thank God. More exists because I refuse the story that this right now, whatever it is and wherever you are, is as good as it gets. Because I don't believe women are meant to reach a certain level of success and then shrink their desires to fit it. Because you should just be grateful for what you have is one of the most silencing stories we've ever been sold. Inside every woman is a bigness, a raw, a powerful embodied knowing. It waits patiently for her to claim it so she can become who she really is, do the wild things she was told not to, and create a life that she is genuinely obsessed with. When women start living this way, unapologetically moving from their own aliveness, creating abundance by living from their sacred truth and desire, something shifts that's bigger than each of us individually. Excuses like, I should be happy, so many women aren't this lucky, get quieter. Myths like, that's okay for her but not for me, start to crack. The changes we make touch our sisters, our daughters' daughters, and we slowly change entire lineages. We slowly break the cycles. We slowly become more. You haven't had the best day of your life yet, or your best week or month or year. You haven't become your favorite version of you yet. Not only are you allowed to want more love, more creativity, more space, more truth, more pleasure, more sex, more beauty, more success, more adventure, more money, but you're allowed to have it. In fact, You should. Otherwise, what's getting you up each day? What's giving you a full body yes? What's giving you chills and goosebumps and lighting you up inside? What's fueling your deep conversations and making you say, fuck yes, I'm ready, let's go? This isn't about having it all. It's about refusing to stop at a life that looks good if it's not the thing that makes you feel alive. Follow the hum in your body. Listen to the dreams and desires that have been gently calling you for years, decades maybe. Chase the wild spark of your own self-expression. This life is an endless unfolding and becoming, and there is always more. And if you're willing to claim it, welcome to the best fucking chapter of your life. I'm back here in my studio. That story was pre-recorded. I hope it stirred something in you. And just know that some of the stories that I touched on in that piece, I'm going to be expanding on. I'm going to be sharing the juicy details in upcoming episodes of More. I'm going to be sharing my fuck me dead moments because there are lots. And there's one thing you can be sure of with this podcast is that I'm always going to give you my honest self. I think that is one of the most important qualities when I'm listening to people, when I'm hearing stories. I want to know what they really experienced. I want to know the wobbles. I want to know how it felt. I want to feel it. And I want to give you all of that truth. And so that's my promise to you. Episodes are going to drop on Fridays. And I would love to take your questions. So if you have questions, please email me or find me on Instagram and ask me that question. And that is going to help shape what this podcast becomes. And that's really important to me. I want to feel you. I want to hear what you responded to, what you enjoyed, what gave you goosebumps, what gently influenced you. So please send me your questions. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at the Katie K Way, or you can find me on email at hello@katiek.com.au. If something in this episode stirred you, if you've been sensing a pattern in your life and you can't quite name it, if you're done reinventing yourself and you want clarity in your life without some kind of collapse or having to burn it all down, then this is an invitation to try a free 45-minute class that I have created. It will answer some of the questions that might have come up while you listen to this episode. And it will orient you through your own lived experience. That's really important. Not my experience, but your own lived experience. And you'll immediately know why that matters. And it also includes the best somatic practice that I've ever had the privilege of learning and practicing in my life, Kindred Meditation, that has deeply changed my own life. And this class also introduces the Creator Code, which is a very important body of work that I'm currently birthing and I'm really excited about. I would love to finish this episode with a question that is for you to ponder, to consider, to journal, to gently ask yourself. And that is, what are the dreams and desires that you've been keeping inside you? And what do you want more of?